One of the most common symptoms of anxiety is the sensation that you're choking or you have this big lump in your throat. This can be very alarming because it can feel like you're actually choking or having trouble swallowing. In this episode, I'm going to explain why this sensation is harmless, and then I'm going to give you a 2-step process that's going to allow you to get rid of it so you never have to worry about it again. Let's discuss. The feeling of choking or feeling like you can't swallow is not a good feeling. This sensation, for some, will make it feel like there's actually something stuck in your throat. And many will find themselves constantly touching their throat to see if there's some sort of bulge or lump there. This anxiety symptom creates 3 issues that I want to talk about today. Number 1, you can become constantly worried about this sensation and be afraid that you might actually suffocate or choke. Number 2, you can start to believe that there's something physically wrong with you, like you have a tumor, cancer, or some type of abnormality in your throat. Number 3, you might start to avoid eating at times, especially when your throat feels really tight, because you're afraid that you won't be able to swallow and you'll choke on your food. All right, the reason you're experiencing this sensation is because when you're suffering from anxiety or you're in an anxious state, various muscles in your body, including those in the neck and the throat, can involuntarily contract or tense up. This creates the feeling as if there's a lump or tightness in your throat. But here's the important part. This sensation does not actually affect your ability to breathe or to swallow. It simply doesn't. And that has been proven over and over by doctors with a variety of tests. This sensation is so unusual that by the time someone comes to talk to me about their anxiety, they've typically already had their doctor examine their throat. If you haven't had that done yet, I highly recommend that you do, because doctors are great at these types of exams. They can feel around your neck and even take a look down your throat. Almost invariably, though, they'll tell you right then and there that there's nothing wrong with you. There's no tumor, no abnormality, nothing. Now, this is a very important step because it gives you reassurance that nothing is wrong with you. And that allows you to accept that this sensation is just a physical manifestation of anxiety. For me personally, when I suffered from anxiety, I'd have periods each and every day where my throat would feel tight and it felt harder to breathe and to swallow. When this happened, I would avoid eating, or I'd only eat small things that were easy to chew and to swallow. But I didn't need to do that because I wasn't in any actual danger of choking, and neither are you. Instead, by me being afraid and worrying about this sensation, I was actually making the sensation even worse. That's because all these worries I was having about the tightness in my throat, that was making me even more anxious. And it was causing my throat muscles to tense up even more and for longer periods. Well, this was the exact opposite of what I wanted to have happen. I wanted this sensation to go away, but here I was making it even more pronounced. You are doing the exact same thing. By anxiously worrying about the lump or the tightness in your throat, you are making the sensation even worse. Here's the good news though. There is a way to get rid of your fear of this sensation so that it will go away and you don't have to deal with it anymore. What you're going to do is you are going to implement step number 4 of the fearless approach, which is called encourage anxiety. What I want you to do is to attempt to make the choking or the lump in your throat even worse. Yeah, I'm telling you to try to increase the intensity of that sensation. To do that, here's what I want you to do. I want you to repeat the phrase, "Great, make that lump in my throat even bigger." Alternatively, you can get upset with it and say something like, "The heck with this. Go ahead and make me choke. Give me all that you got. I want you to say this response out loud if possible. And as you're doing that, hop up and down a bit while you're saying it. Okay, now after you repeat this response a few times, here's what you need to do. You need to focus on an engaging task or activity. So talk to a friend on the phone, go run an errand, do whatever. But do not sit there and keep thinking about the tightness in your throat. Now, your brain will occasionally drift back to worrying about that lump in your throat, even when you're focusing on an activity. And that's okay. When that happens, I just want you to remind yourself that the sensation you're experiencing is harmless and redirect your focus back to the activity that you were doing. All right, I know this whole thing sounds very counterintuitive, but what you're going to find is that by encouraging the lump in your throat to get worse, it gets you out of a fearful state and back into a position of control. Because when you tell your brain that you want even more, that sends a clear signal that there's no danger and that there's no reason to be afraid. So to be clear, this is not going to make the choking sensation suddenly stop. But what it is going to do is it's going to make it gradually go away over the next few weeks as you lose your fear of the sensation. Also, for those of you who avoid eating when you have that lump or tightness in your throat, here's what I want you to do. First, do what we just talked about and encourage the tightness or the lump to get even worse. Then, I want you to go grab something to eat, such as a piece of fruit or a snack, and start taking some small bites. With repetition, you will quickly prove to your brain that you can swallow food and that you're not going to choke. To learn more about the Fearless approach and how to overcome all the symptoms of anxiety, make sure you download the 5-step cure to anxiety and panic attacks that's in the link below. It is the proven step-by-step guide to overcoming anxiety, and I'm giving it away absolutely free. Lastly, if you enjoyed this video, you'd be doing me a huge favor by hitting the like button before you leave. Thanks so much for watching.